This is Prajwal and I am welcoming you all on my channel Math-E-Phobia. We have completed the first chapter of real numbers. Now we have to continue for the second chapter, that is polynomial. In this video, we will do the fast revision just for your upcoming board examination. Okay. First of all, we have to understand the meaning of polynomial. The general definition that we have learned in class 8 is the combination of constant and variables connected with any of the mathematical operation plus, minus, multiply, divide is known as polynomial, but the power of the variable should be a whole number. Now we have to understand the major or the important definition of the polynomial, and that is like an expression. First of all, you have to understand what we mean by expression. An expression is just the combination of constant and variable connected with any mathematical operation without equality sign. Okay. An expression of the form px, which is read as polynomial in x. Okay. Px, polynomial in x, is equals to an x to the power n plus an minus 1 x to the power n minus 1 plus dot 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 plus a2 x square plus a1 x, and the last one is plus a0. First of all, we have to understand that the first term should not be 0. That means the coefficient of the variable containing the highest power should not be equals to 0. That means an should not be 0. Why? If an becomes 0, the first term will vanish. So it is important that the first coefficient should not be 0. This will be called a polynomial in variable x, and the degree of this polynomial will be n. Now, what is the meaning of an and an minus 1 and so on, a2, a1, a0, a1, a2, a3 and so on, an minus 1, an are real numbers. Okay, they are constant, and this n, which is in the power of all the variables one by one, n is a whole number. This should be a whole number, otherwise the given expression will not be treated as a polynomial. Okay. Now here we have faced a word, that is degree. We have to understand what is the meaning of degree here. First of all, what is the power? The number written on the variables on each term will be known as power of that term. Okay. Means the power of this term will be what is written on the power of variable, that is n. So the power of this term is n. Similarly, the power of this term will be n minus 1 and so on to, if nothing is written, we read it as 1. Okay. So this is the definition of power. The most important thing, degree. What we mean by degree? The highest power of the given expression or polynomial. If I say this one is an expression or polynomial, we have to find the highest power of this expression or polynomial. Since we know that the highest power is n, that's why we are treating it as of degree n. I hope this is clear to all of you. The ongoing topic will be types of polynomial, in which we will read zero polynomial, linear, quadratic, cubic and biquadratic. Let's understand it one by one. First is zero polynomial. What we mean by zero polynomial? If in a polynomial all the coefficient that we have known as a0, a1, a2, a3 and so on, an minus 1, an are 0. If all the coefficients become 0, we will treat that polynomial as 0 polynomial. Now the second one is linear polynomial. If a polynomial is of the degree 1, then we will treat that polynomial as linear. Degree 1 means the highest power of the variable of that polynomial is 1. Similarly, if the polynomial has a degree of 2, it will be treated as what? Quadratic polynomial. And if the degree will become 3, it will be treated as cubic. And the last one, if degree will become 4, we will treat that polynomial as biquadratic polynomial. The next topic is value of the polynomial. If we are given with a polynomial px, that is an x to the power n plus so on plus a0. If we put x equals to k, where k is any constant, if we put x equals to k in this, and our result will be treated as, in the place of x, we have to put k, pk, the value of this. If you solve that, this will give you a constant. Then this will be known as, the answer is value of that polynomial at point k. Is that clear? Similarly, if you want to find the zero of the polynomial, take any point x equals to k, and if that px become 0 at that point k, then we will treat that k as the zero of the polynomial. Now class, we have to understand what we mean by geometrical meaning of the zeros of the polynomial. In this, you will face the figure, that is the graph of the given polynomial, and you have to answer how many zeros that graph has. So for that, if you have faced x equals to an x to the power n plus an minus 1 x to the power n minus 1 plus and so on plus a0, this type of question, this will written as y equals to this. Okay, y equals to px type graph. If you are facing this type of question, then the easiest method for this will be number of times the graph cuts the x-axis. Not only cut, if it will touch the x-axis, it will also be count. Similarly, this is a special case. If you are facing the question like x equals to py means an. Now the all variables are interchanged with x as y. An y to the power n plus an minus 1 y to the power n minus 1 plus so on a1 y plus a0. This time, the number of time graph cuts the y-axis also touch the y-axis. We will count all these things as a zero of that polynomial. Similarly, if you want to understand it with an example, let it see. This is x-axis, this is y-axis. Okay. If your question is like the graph is in the form of y equals to px. Okay. This is an example. Y equals to px is the form of the polynomial, and this is the graph of that polynomial. Now the question is, how many zeros you will find in this case. So what I have said, number of times it cuts the x-axis. This one is the x-axis. Here it cuts the x-axis. Here also and here also. There will be 3 zeros. Is it clear? Let's take one more example. If the graph is like this. Now, how many zeros will be here? Since it touches the x-axis, it will be counted as 1 0. I hope this is clear to all of you. Now, let's improve our knowledge by understanding the concept zero. First one, if you want to find out the zero of a linear polynomial. Linear polynomial means px equals to ax plus b. Ax plus b, how we can treat that, how we can find that this one is a linear polynomial, because the degree of this polynomial is 1. That means the highest power of this, the variable is 1. Okay. Now if you want to find the zero, we have to equate that polynomial to 0. This way we will find the value of x as minus b by a. B is a constant, so constant term. So if we want to write it in the verbal thing, it will be minus constant upon, what is a? The coefficient of the variable x. So I have written it as coefficient of x. So this will be the only zero of that linear polynomial. Now for quadratic polynomial will be of the form px equals to ax square plus bx plus c, where a will not be equals to 0. In this also, I have explained this. While the first, if a becomes 0, this term will vanish. Hence, we will not able to specify that whether it is a linear or quadratic or anything else. Okay. If we are given with px equals to x square plus bx plus c, if we equate this equals to 0, we will get two values of x. First one will be alpha and beta. Before elaborating this, first of all move back to this one. Px equals to ax square plus bx plus c. Y equals to ax square plus bx plus c. This is the graph of a parabola. Okay. Now, if there are many types of parabola, but we have to, if the question is asking about which type of parabola it is, that means on which side the parabola will open itself. There will be the two types. If parabola is opening upward or downward. Just by looking at the polynomial, how we can answer that the parabola will be open upward or downward. There is a method. If this constant a is greater than 0, then parabola will open upward, and if this a is less than 0, then parabola will open downward. Okay, this way, this way. This is an important result. Sometimes this type of question asked in MCQ. Now we have to understand one important result of that 0. If a polynomial is of degree 3, then it can have at most 3 0 at most. If a polynomial is of degree n, it has at most n plus 1 terms and at most n zeros, which I have explained here. Now this is the topic on which the maximum type of question will be asked on in your examination. So the topic is relationship between the zeros and the coefficient of quadratic polynomials. In this chapter we have to only focus on quadratic polynomials for our upcoming board examination. Okay. If you are given with a polynomial px equals to ax square plus bx plus c, where it has to be specified that a should not be 0. What we mean by alpha and beta? Alpha and beta are the zeros of this quadratic polynomial. I have specified it few minutes before. Alpha plus beta equals to minus b by a. What is the verbal meaning for this? Alpha plus beta, sum of the zeros will be equals to minus. B is the coefficient of x upon a. A is the coefficient of x square. Now the second one it will be alpha into beta means product of the zeros will be equals to c by a. What is c? The constant term upon a. A means the coefficient of x square. Here the question is px equals to x square minus 2x minus 8. Now compare this with ax square plus bx plus c. A is 1. What about b? B is minus 2. What about c? C is minus 8. Okay. Now, if you factorize this, I hope you know the meaning of factorization of a polynomial and you know the process also. X square minus 4x plus 2x minus 8. If you are not known, I will explain it in the upcoming videos. If you factorize this, x minus 4x plus 2 will be the factors, and the value of x will be 4 and minus 2. Okay. 4 will be the value of alpha and minus 2 will be the value of beta. So let's verify this. Alpha plus beta will be equals to minus b by d. Alpha is 4, beta is minus 2. Then 4 plus minus 2 will be 4 minus 2, that is 2. And what about minus b by a? Minus the value of b. B is minus 2. Minus 2 upon value of a is 1. Minus minus will become plus. This will become 2. Similarly, alpha into beta equals to what? Alpha is what? 4 and beta is minus 2. 4 into minus 2 will be minus 8. And c by a, what is the meaning of c? What the value of c is minus 8 and a is 1. The answer will be minus 8. Since we can see that alpha plus beta is also 2, minus b by a is also 2. That means these two are equal. Similarly, alpha into beta is equals to minus 8 and c by a is also minus 8. That means alpha into beta equals to c by a. This way we can verify the relation between zeros and the coefficient of the polynomial. Now the last topic of this chapter is how to find the quadratic polynomial if the value of alpha and beta are given. That means you are known with the zeros of the polynomial. In that case, the polynomial will be x square minus alpha plus beta in one bracket into x plus alpha into beta. This will be the quadratic polynomial. If you want to write it in words, then px or polynomial in x will be written as x square minus sum of the zeros into x plus product of the zeros. Now let's take an example. If you are given at two values at 2 comma minus 4 are the zeros of a polynomial, that means alpha is 2 and what about this one is beta. Then what will be the quadratic polynomial? According to the formula, px will be equals to what? X square minus alpha plus beta into x plus alpha into beta. Then find the value of alpha plus beta first. What is the value of alpha plus beta? Alpha is 2, beta is minus 4. 2 plus minus 4, the answer will be minus 2. Is it? Similarly, alpha into beta will be 2 into minus 4. This will be minus 8. Is it clear? Now, the answer will be x square minus the value of alpha plus beta is what? Minus 2 x plus alpha into beta is minus 8. The final result is x square minus minus will be plus 2x and minus 8. This is our required quadratic polynomial. I hope you have understand all the topics. These are actually very important for your examination. These are the concepts behind the chapter polynomial, and if you want to solve the questions, solve the question according to this, and I hope you will like the video. So please like and subscribe my channel.